WrestleMania 35 is 11 days away, and what a few days it's been. It's incredible. Some of these matches on the card have just been made, so we'll get to it as quick as we can. First off, the WWE Women's Tag Titles as the Boston Hug Connection, Sasha Banks and Bayley, face off against the Samoan Dynasty in Nia Jax and Tamina, the Iconics, and Natalya and the returning Beth Phoenix in a fatal four-way match for the titles. This all started with Beth wanting to come back. Actually, it did start with the Iconics winning the match, since the titles are like tri-branded if you count NXT. But it also started with Beth Phoenix wanting to come back and have a match because these titles weren't around since she was there, and it would have been a great opportunity for her to be a tag team champion at that time, but it never came to fruition. Now there's that chance. With this, though, I don't know, because Sasha actually retained a title for once, as we saw at Fastlane. She actually didn't lose the title on her first title defense, so it's interesting to see what will happen here. I really don't know. But I will pick the Iconics just because I want to see it happen. It should have happened at Elimination Chamber, but it didn't for whatever reason. And now this is one fall to a finish. They have a big chance of winning this. Next up, the match will finally happen as the Hemp Champion, Captain Planet himself, Daniel Bryan, will defend against Kofi Kingston as the New Day won a gauntlet match, a tag team gauntlet, to get this opportunity for Kofi. And it's great. It's about time. This match should have been made weeks ago, but, we have this stigma of the B-plus player thing happening again, and more importantly, depending if you count The Rock or not, there's, the chance of a black man ever winning the WWE title. Again, if you count The Rock or not, because some people say, oh, he's Samoan, it doesn't really count. Well, regardless of what you think, it doesn't get more African than being from Ghana, West Africa. So, at this, regardless, history will be made if that were to happen. But I will say Kofi wins it, but I will say it with the slightest chance of doubt, because I don't know if they will pull the trigger after 11 years. I really don't know if they'll do it. Kofi clearly is the emotional favorite, but I don't know if they will do it, but I will pick Kofi just because I want to see it happen. Next up, the Intercontinental Championship is Bobby Lashley. It could be Rude at this point, I don't fucking know. Lashley faces Finn Balor. And there have been some lingerings and rumors of the Demon coming back at WrestleMania. We don't know that for certain. I will say this. If Finn goes full Demon here at Mania, he'll win the title. If not, Lashley will retain. It's going to be as simple as that. I don't remember if we went over this one, but we'll go over it again. Roman Reigns versus Drew McIntyre. This has been personal ever since the Shield thing going on, and it's going to be a simple match here. Reigns wins. It's his first singles match since having the leukemia, and it would make sense for him to win the match. If not, that he, it's probably a guarantee that he'll win this match, honestly, because it just makes sense to do so. Next up, updates to the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. And this is a fucking doozy. Michael Che and Colin Jost are in the Battle Royal. I do not agree with this personally. Just because they're not trained to do this. They are not. I mean, God, they have to be maybe 145 pounds soaking wet at most. Maybe a little more, maybe a little less. But they could seriously get hurt. I mean, and I don't care if Colin Jost gets hurt personally, but nonetheless, you have to think about their well-being. in this, but they did. Well, Colin did this to Braun, did all these things to Braun, and he kind of deserves it at this point, but you know, these guys aren't here to do a fucking Broadway. They barely get through a couple hours of Saturday Night Live, let alone their own fucking news show. But goes maybe for 15 minutes. You think they're going to do a fucking battle royal? I honestly hope they do not win the battle royal. I really don't. But it would be something that WWE would do for Colin Jost after insulting the business, insulting everything, getting cheap heat with the fucking hats. It would make sense that he won the fucking battle royal. I mean, just to piss us off, it would happen. But I don't know if it would. I really don't. But again, you know, it's only Braun and them in the match so far, so Braun would easily win this match just based on that alone. But hopefully, Colin just doesn't win the fucking battle royal. I just hope not. I really hope not. Next up, the best in the world, Shane McMahon, faces The Miz in a Falls Count Anywhere match. This has been challenged by Miz last night on SmackDown. Shane accepted. And it's now Falls Count Anywhere, which basically means literally a pinfall or submission will count anywhere in the building, eventually in front of what will probably be the largest ramp yet for WrestleMania. I can only assume the ramp will be twice as large as last year's. So you could have a fucking match on that thing to begin with. So it's great that they're going to use that for sure. I can guarantee they're going to use that fucking ramp. Just a big fucking ramp we don't need. But, you know, you got to make these things big. You got to make it happen somehow. But I feel like Miz will win this just because, you know, he has the family going for him and he has the thing going for him. And Shane doesn't really do good in these kind of matches. Sometimes he does, sometimes he doesn't, but we will see. And finally, we have an update to the main event of WrestleMania. It was announced on Raw that the triple threat match will be the main event as Ronda Rousey defends the Raw Women's Championship against Becky Lynch, the Man, and the new SmackDown Women's Champion, Charlotte. Now, I do not know if the SmackDown Women's title will also be on the line. Of course, Charlotte won it last night against Asuka in an impromptu title match, and she beat Trish Stratus's record. She did it. You know, it was going to happen eventually. But we do not know if both titles will be on the line now because this has the potential of being a double title match. I don't think that will happen. But, you know, it could happen because it would make more sense. And then Becky just pins whatever champion she wants at that point. I don't fucking know. I really don't know what they're going to do here because Charlotte has the potential of unifying the titles, and I don't think they're going to unify them this yet, but, you know, just have a regular women's championship again, I don't know, but this just throws fucking curveballs in this thing, but I will go with my original prediction, and I still think Becky will win this match. It just depends if both titles are on the line, which title will she win? I really don't know, but it's very interesting. And with that being said, WrestleMania is 11 days away, and it will be a fucking doozy. I will tell you that much. It's a heck of a card so far, and it will continue to grow within the next few days.